Alexa-powered smart speaker and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know, this show isn't for everybody. If you're not interested in the truth, if you're not interested in having a conversation on the merits, then don't listen to this show.
On AM 560.
Because there's no place for you here.
The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So now that seemingly all the indictments are out of the way and we move to the pretrial motions and scheduling and politicking about the sum and substance, and as well as implications, electoral implications. Time for Ron DeSantis to figure out a way to change the dynamics in this race. Maybe difficult, but you got to try if you're going to be a candidate. And the debate that matters for Ron DeSantis, in my estimation, is not next Wednesday. The debate he has to get done, and it's languishing right now. They're arguing over format and whether or not to have a studio audience or not. Is
the fight in the Coliseum?
No, not Zuckerberg Musk. Is the Gavin Newsom debate?
Yeah,
that's where he needs to be. That's something different. It prevents an opportunity for him to be up against a Democrat, so he can focus on Democrats and compare and contrast the record in Florida with what happened in California and in every other deep blue state, including Illinois. Same policies, different policymakers. That's a moment. That could be a moment for DeSantis. I'm not saying it completely turns the tables on the race, but it's a moment to reposition and perhaps get some reconsideration. And again, depending on how Newsom performs, there might be some reconsideration and reexamination going on the other side too. It's almost a which side will blink first and say we have to sideline the actual head of the party in Biden, or effectively the head of the party in Trump. Let's see what Scott McKay thinks about that. He joins us now, publisher of the Hayride, contributing editor at the American Spectator, and author of the Revivalist Manifesto. Scott McKay, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy.
Morning.
Hello.
DeSantis needs to have that square off with Newsom post-haste, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea for him to do that, if for no other reason than to kind of make the American people reset a little bit on the idea that, hey, when a Republican is running things and doing Republican things, you tend to get much better results than when Democrats run things and do Democrat things, which, you know, is a debate that is absolutely not being had in the country right now with all these stupid indictments and everything else. But what I've come around to the idea of is, I don't think DeSantis should get out of the race. But right now, I mean, DeSantis' brand is essentially, look, I'm Trump 2.0. I can do the Trump things without sort of the stuff about Trump that makes you nervous. The problem is that with all of this stuff that they're throwing at Trump, there's no market for Trump 2.0 right now. Right? Like, people are loyal to Trump 1.0. And that just kind of puts DeSantis in a weird position, in that you're going to abandon the Trump 2.0 brand if you start attacking Trump on the basis of Trump's attacks on you and on the indictments and all this other kind of stuff. He's tried some of that. It hasn't worked. And it, probably shouldn't work, because the base Ron DeSantis voter is somebody who is a Trump voter, but is looking at DeSantis as, hey, you know what? Maybe this is somebody who can do all of our stuff without, meme tweets and all this other kind of deal. But what everybody's come around to the realization of is they're going to treat DeSantis just as bad as they treat Trump. And so the utility of a Trump 2.0 just right now isn't there. Now, you got 4 different court cases, and I don't think anybody should make any assumptions about 2024, not on the Republican side or the Democrat side for that matter. And so if you're DeSantis, what you're really doing is you're putting yourself out there as sort of the backup quarterback in 24 with the idea that the starter might actually take a cheap shot to his knee before it's done. And then, certainly put yourself in a position that you are the guy in 2028. And debating Newsom, I think, gets you, at least a couple first downs along that line.
Mm-hmm. There's the old boxing adage that styles make fights. And I think what you're seeing, almost even without the indictments, is that Ron DeSantis' style, I mean, as much as I like him, is just a bad matchup for Trump on the landscape which we're all operating on now. I mean, if it was Oliver Anthony as the governor of Florida challenging Trump, the guy who got this hit song, The Rich Men North of Richmond, if it was him, then maybe you have a real fight. But Ron DeSantis, sort of the room temperature, put together executive who lays out arguments and has details and is sort of dispassionate about implementing the things he said he would do. It just doesn't have the same appeal to this electorate.
Well, and I don't know that it. And I mean, I've been more of a DeSantis guy than a Trump guy, kind of throughout this process. Even though I think that whichever one carries the standard, that's the standard that the Republican Party has to have going forward. But I don't know that the moment is right for a competent executive who's kind of at least tries to be a no drama type of guy.
Right.
I mean, people think the country is dying before our very eyes. Okay, and I don't know that Trump totally stands out as the guy who'll fix it, but Trump is the guy that stands out as the fighter who will get as dirty as necessary to win. And that's sort of, at least on the right, that's the mood. I mean, they look at the indictments. They look at all of the stuff that's happened to, like, for example, Mark Houck, who was the sidewalk counselor in front of the abortion clinic, and for his trouble, somebody comes up and messes with his kid, so he shoves the guy, and next thing he knows, he's got an FBI SWAT team coming to his house. And everybody's looking at the House Republicans who are doing all these hearings, and they're screaming, do something, and the answer is, look, we're the House majority. There's nothing we can do beyond the oversight piece that we're doing. But everybody's kind of in a panic because, they see the country going to hell in a handbasket, and they don't really know how to stop it. And in that case, coming to a competent executive just doesn't seem like the right call. I mean, they're looking for somebody who's a warrior and a martyr if need be. And that's what Trump has done, positioning himself.
Now, do you think he should participate next Wednesday's debate or sit this one out?
I think he should participate because the thing of it is nobody's going to really beat Trump up in that debate. Because when he's sitting at 60% in the polls, attacking him makes you the worst rhino that ever existed. So, the idea that, I'm going to go debate and then they're not going to beat you up. What they may say is, I'll go even further than you did, which is an opportunity for Trump to say, you know what, you're right. My first term, we could have done these things. I know exactly what the problems are, and we'll fix them going forward. And maybe I'll, Vivek, maybe I'll put you in the cabinet and you can work on this issue. He's got a great ability or opportunity, rather, to get in there and sort of be the big guy at the stage. And I think he's missing an opportunity there. I think the debates are worth watching anyway because these guys are all sort of the second tier of candidates. And, they're maybe representative of what Senate and gubernatorial candidates in 2024 will look like where the GOP is concerned. I mean, I can see Ramaswamy ended up running against Sherrod Brown in Ohio, for example, which would be phenomenal if it happened. So he also has like a perfect foil. Not that I think he's going to do it, but he also has a perfect foil at that debate in Chris Christie. The more that those two got into it, and the more that everybody else wanted to stay out of it, the more that redounds to the benefit of Trump because Christie gets isolated as the rhino on the stage. Until Mike Pence opens his mouth.
Yeah, but
then
Pence
again, Mike Pence is so boring.
Yeah, Pence is not going to come at Trump like Christie does.
Well, right. I mean, Christie's going to come at Trump like he's an MSNBC guest, which he generally is.
Right.
He's going to be the guy everybody loves to hate. But the thing about it is because Chris Christie has so little charisma these days, some of the stuff he says about Trump, is actually factually correct, but nobody's interested in listening to it when it comes from Chris Christie's mouth. At least he's a persona on that stage and a point of view. It may not be a very popular one, but he can say some things that people can talk about after the fact. And then you got some of these other ones that really, they have nothing to say. So I don't know. If I was Trump, I'd go because he's going to stand out as the guy, and I think he's missing the opportunity to basically finish this thing off by going to a debate and just like, look, I'm your nominee, and maybe instead of 60%, he's at 70%, and then there really isn't anything they can say.
He is Scott McKay, publisher of the Hayride, contributing editor at The Spectator, and the author of the book, The Revivalist Manifesto. Scott, thanks as always.
See you guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Folks, when shopping for a home mortgage, how much is great service, low closing costs, and competitive interest rates worth to you? At Townstone Financial, it's priceless. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
My name is Demi, and I did my first home purchase with Townstone Financial. The biggest difference between Townstone and the bigger banks that we went to was that at Townstone, Barry was really straightforward. He ran the numbers, and he made it happen. With the bigger banks, I feel like they kept giving me a runaround. We didn't have a lot of money in our checking and savings. Townstone Financial was the only bank that we reached out to that was able to find us a program that worked for us.
Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110, or go to townstone.com. That's TOW.